is the Children's Act 2022 that proposes to remove the provisions which prohibit the court from granting a sole male applicant adoption of a child. The Copyright Act 2001, number 12 of 2001, will also be amended to make provisions for the equitable remuneration of performers and producers of sound recordings and expand the responsibilities of collective management organizations towards the authors and performers. This bill, the amendments on this particular legislation, also proposes to bring collective management organizations under regulation by the board in order to enhance their efficiency. Another piece of legislation that is part of the amendments that this bill seeks to make is the Scrap Metal Act 2015 to provide for a special license for dealing in copper, aluminium, and their alloys. This is intended to protect critical infrastructure, for instance, transformers. The bill further proposes to restrict the disposal of scrap metal from critical infrastructure to two national entities, namely the Numerical Machining Complex and Kenya Shipyard Limited. The Deputy Speaker of the National Assembly, Honorable Gladys Bose, is in the chambers. Allow me to hand you over to this live broadcast, brought to you by PBU in partnership with KBC. Good afternoon.
Honorable members, let us pray. Almighty God, who in your wisdom and goodness have appointed the offices of leaders and parliaments for the welfare of society and the just government of the people, we beseech you to behold with your abundant favor as your servants whom you have been pleased to call to the performance of important trusts in this republic. Let your blessings descend upon us here assembled, and grant that we treat and consider all matters that shall come under our deliberation in so just and faithful a manner as to promote your honor and glory and to advance the peace, prosperity, and welfare of our country and of those whose interests you have committed to our charge. Amen. I direct that the bell be rung for 10 minutes.
Well, the Deputy Speaker of the National Assembly, Honorable Gladys Bose, has directed that the quorum bell be rung for 10 minutes. This is an indication that the House lacks the required number of members inside the chambers at the commencement of House business. And this is pursuant to the House Standing Order number 34, that at least members should be seated inside the chambers at the commencement of House business, failure to which it will necessitate a quorum bell to alert the members to make their way into the chambers. As you can see, members will be walking into the chambers, and once the number is achieved, then the sergeant-at-arms who are keeping tabs with the current quorum, then they will be able to alert the speaker, and the House will be called to order for the commencement of House business. So that is a quorum bell underway, and we will be seeing members getting into the chambers. The Scrap Metal Act 2015 is one of the legislature or statutes that the Statute Law Miscellaneous Amendments Bill seeks to make amendments to. The National Employment Authority Act 2016, also number 3 of 2016, will also undergo some amendments to cure inconsistencies in the Act and align it with the National Employment Authority Human Resources Policy and Procedures Manual. Pursuant to Standing Order 225 of the National Assembly, that is on petitions, the Honorable Member for Kilifi North, Honorable Owen Bayer, on behalf of Kilifi residents, on behalf of the residents of Kilifi North constituency, will be presenting a petition on the gazettement of Kaya Forest as forest areas under the Forest Conservation and Management Act 2016. This is pursuant to the House Standing Order 225, and it is a petition that is lined up for consideration at the floor of the House this afternoon. A petition that will be committed to the relevant committee, in this case, the Public Petitions Committee. That is Tier T, Member of Parliament, of course, with other honorable members working in. Remember, the Quorum bell is currently underway, and we will be expecting to see that. All right, that's the Sergeant at Arms raising a white paper. This has been the tradition of the House. If quorum is achieved, the Sergeant at Arms will alert the Speaker, and the Speaker will call the House to order. Allow me to hand you over to this live broadcast.
Bell can be stopped. We can begin.
Order number 1, administration of oath. Order number 2, communication from the chair. Order number 3, messages.
Honorable members, I have 2 communications, so we are going back to order number 2. Honorable members, I have a communication. Honorable members, the National Government Administration Laws Amendment Bill and National Bill number 73 of 2023 was read a first time yesterday, Wednesday, 6 September 2023, during the morning sitting. Members will note that the bill seeks to amend the following 4 statutes. 1, the Assumption of Office of the President Act 2012. 2, the National Security Council Act of 2012. 3, the Office of the Attorney General Act of 2012. And 4, the National Government Coordination Act of 2023. Honorable members, I note that determining the appropriate committee of the House to which the bill will be referred requires careful examination of the purpose of the bill, the purpose that the bill seeks to accomplish. From a reading of the memorandum and objects of the reasons of the bill, the proposals in the bill seek to, 1, include the Secretary to the National Security Council and the Principal Secretary responsible for defense as members of the Assumption of Office President Committee, and increase the nominees of the President-elect within the committee from 3 to 6 members. 2, it seeks to introduce the National Security Advisor as the Secretary to the National Security Council and establishing a National Security Council Committee. 3, replace the Attorney General as the custodian of the public seal with the head of public service. And 4, establish and delineate the functions of the head of public service and the offices of the Chief Administrative Secretary. Honorable members, a majority of the amendments in the bill relate to the administration of government. However, the changes that the bill ultimately seeks to achieve relate to significant constitutional and legal matters. In seeking to alter the role of the government bodies and officials, the bill affects the independence of the bodies and existing checks and balances within government. Any change proposed to the functions of entities such as the assumption of office of the President Committee, the National Security Council, and the Office of the Attorney General may infringe upon their constitutional and statutory mandates. Honorable members, as you are aware of the ongoing litigation on the constitutionality of the Office of the Chief Administrative Secretaries, whereas Parliament may consider a proposal to establish the position of Chief Administrative Secretary, knowledge of the pending court matter must inform any such consideration. In my considered view, it is imperative for the Committee of the House charged with overseeing constitutional affairs to thoroughly scrutinize the proposed amendments in the bill and ensure that they are in consonance with the Constitution and the written law. In this regard, honorable members, and pursuant to the provisions of Standing Order 1271, I therefore refer the National Government Administration Laws Amendment Bill 2023 to the Departmental Committee on Justice and Legal Affairs. The committee is encouraged to facilitate public participation on the bill in the usual manner during the recess period that is about to commence. Honorable members, where necessary, the committee may sit jointly with the Departmental Committee on Administration and Internal Security to address specific matters in the bill that require the input of the counterpart committee. In its consideration of the bill, the Justice and Legal Affairs Committee should lend particular weight to the underlying legal issues in the proposals made by the bill. The House is accordingly guided. Thank you. Honorable members, before I go to the next communication, I'll give you an opportunity to sit for those who have an upstanding. Honorable members, take your nearest seat. Honorable members, and on to my second communication. Honorable members, as notified in today's order paper, at the rise of this sitting, the House is scheduled to proceed on its long recess from tomorrow, Friday, 8th December 2023, to Monday, 12th February 2024, in accordance with the approved calendar of the House for the second session. This marks the conclusion of regular sittings of the second session of the 13th Parliament and the beginning of a well-deserved break. Honorable members, during this season, the House has transacted various key businesses, including considerations and approval of public finance-related motions, consideration and passage of bills, some of them culminating in landmark legislations with far-reaching implications in the education, health, housing, labor, and social welfare sector, among others, and effectively turning around the economy. The House also considered treaties, sessional papers, approval of appointment to state offices, and also undertook various inquiries. The House also undertook its oversight role through questions to cabinet secretaries, which continue to elicit great interest, not just in the House, but from the public at large. A more comprehensive report on the activities of the House will be made available in due course. Honorable members, as an established practice and further recalling the resolution of the House on the calendar for regular sittings on 15th February 2023, committee sittings will stand suspended from 18th December 2023 to 28th January 2024. In this regard, honorable members, all committees are required to suspend their sittings on the stated dates in order to allow members to attend their constituency duties and parliamentary staff to take their annual leave. Any committee activities that may need to be conducted during the said period ought to obtain express permission from my office upon written request. Honorable members, to safeguard business with the statutory timelines from lapsing, the counting of the days for such businesses shall cease and resume when the House returns on the third session on 13th February 2024. I hasten to remind members that should need arise for the House to transact any urgent business, the House will be recalled pursuant to Standing Order 29. Honorable members, I wish to thank the leadership of the House, members of this House, and staff for their diligence and commitment exhibited, which enabled the House to transact the business both in plenary and in committee sessions throughout. Specifically, I wish to commend members for their active participation, which has seen consideration and conclusion of key priority businesses by the House. In conclusion, honorable members, as you proceed to spend this well-deserved break with your families and constituents during the long holiday season, I take this early opportunity to wish you all a happy festive season and a prosperous new year 2024. Thank you.
Order number 3, messages. Order number 4, petitions.
Honorable Owen Baya.
Honorable Speaker, thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. I would like to lay petition number 81/0/2023 regarding gazettement of Kaya forests as forest areas under the Forest Conservation and Management Act of 2016. Honorable Speaker, I, the undersigned, on behalf of the people of Kilifi County, draw the attention of the House to the following. That the Mijikenda community occupies separate forest sites spread over 200 kilometers, mostly on low hills, ranging in size from 30 to 300 hectares along the coastal counties of Kwale, Mombasa, and Kilifi, containing the remains of more than 30 fortified villages known as Kayas, or when plural, Makaya. That the Kayas were created during the 16th century but abandoned in the 1940s and are now regarded as abodes of ancestors, which are respected as sacred sites, maintained by Council of Governors of Elders, inscribed as bearing unique testimony to our cultural tradition and for its direct link to a living tradition. Honorable Speaker, that the forests around the Kayas have been nurtured by the Mijikenda community to protect the sacred graves and groves, and are now almost the only remains of the once extensive coastal lowland forests. That the Kayas provide focal points for Mijikenda religious beliefs and practices and are regarded as their ancestral homes. As such, they have metonymic significance to the Mijikenda and are a fundamental source of their sense of well-being in the world and of place within the cultural landscape of contemporary Kenya, seen as a defining characteristic of Mijikenda identity. Honorable Speaker, that since their abandonment as preferred places of settlements, the Kayas have transferred from the domestic aspects of the Mijikenda landscape to its spiritual sphere. As part of this process, certain restrictions were placed on access and the utilization of natural forest resources. That as a direct consequence of the above, the biodiversity of the Kayas and forests surrounding them had been sustained. However, the Kayas are under threat from both internally and from within the Mijikenda society through the decline of traditional knowledge and respect of the practices. The integrity of the Kayas relates to the intactness of their forest surroundings, which currently has been compromised. Honorable Speaker, that most Kayas have been under gazettement of the National Museums of Kenya, which emphasizes on conservation and protection of the heritage and cultural values, but not conservation of the forest. This therefore explains the increase in degradation of the forest resources and biodiversity. Honorable Speaker, that the matter presented in this petition is not pending before any tribunal, court of law, or independent body. Therefore, your humble petitioner prays that the National Assembly, through the Public Petitions Committee, 1, recommends to the relevant Ministry of State Government Department to identify kaya forests, areas along the coastal counties of Kwale, Mombasa, and Kilifi for conservation purposes. Recommend that kaya forests be gazetted as forest areas under the Forest Conservation and Management Act 2016, and recommend that during gazettement, management respects the needs of individual kayas and to integrate the conservation of natural and cultural resources and traditional and non-traditional management practices. And lastly, Honorable Speaker, makes any other recommendations or actions it deems fit in addressing the plight of the petitioners. I thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Thank you, honorable members. And before we go to the next order paper, I just want to bring to the attention of members that there is now in circulation a supplementary order paper which had been approved by the Speaker. Those who have comments on the petition, I can see member for Malindi. Oh, you pulled out your card. Amina Mnyanzi, did you want to comment on this? Okay.
Asante sana Mheshimiwa Spika kwa kupata nafasi hii niweze kuongelea kuhusu kuweza kuhifadhi kaya yetu sisi kama Wamijikenda. Jambo la kwanza ni mshukuru Mheshimiwa Owen Baya ambaye ni jirani yangu kule upande wa Kilifi North kwa hili jambo ambalo ameweza kulifikisha hapa Mheshimiwa Spika. Na ninaposimama hapa Mheshimiwa Spika na muunga mkono Mheshimiwa Owen Baya tuweze kuhifadhi makao yetu sisi kama Wamijikenda. Mheshimiwa Spika, Mheshimiwa Spika, hiyo ndio ni tamaduni yetu sisi kama Wamijikenda, na sisi ni lazima tuweze kuhifadhi sehemu kama hizo ili iwe ni funzo kwetu sisi na kwa vizazi vingine ambavyo vinakuja. Mheshimiwa Spika, sisi kama Wamijikenda tuko na mila na tamaduni zetu, na tunapoondoa hizo mila za kaya na hivyo vitu vyote Mheshimiwa Spika, ni kwamba tunaondoa mila na tamaduni zetu na hatutakuwa na jambo lolote la kujivunia sisi kama Wamijikenda. Kwa hivyo leo nasimama hapa kuunga mkono mswada huu na kusema kwamba ni lazima tuhifadhi makaya yetu, lazima tuhifadhi culture yetu sisi kama Wamijikenda ili tuweze kusaidia vizazi vinavyokuja. Asante sana Mheshimiwa Spika.
Asante. Member for Nyaribari Masaba, Honorable Manduku. Honorable members, if you're interested in, please press the, okay, I'll give it then to Honorable Kahindi Katana, member for Kaloleni.
Asante Bi Speaker kwa kunipatia nafasi hii. Kwanza nataka ni mshukuru ndugu yangu Owen Baya kwa kuleta petition hii katika bunge letu. Bi Speaker, kaya ni sehemu moja ya desturi za Wamijikenda kimila, na kwa sababu kaya ni sehemu ya msitu ambapo sisi Wamijikenda na vizazi vyetu ama waliotutangulia ni mahali tunaenda kufanya maombi matakatifu, kuomba mvua, kuomba afya njema na tuwe na chakula ama tuombee amani taifa letu. Hii misitu ya kaya inatakikana kuhifadhiwa bila kuharibiwa, kwa sababu umeona juzi kulikuwa na zoezi la kupanda miti. Kama hizi kaya ambazo ziko ni msitu mikubwa inaweza kuhifadhiwa na pia tuongeze. Jambo ambalo nataka tuzingatie Bi Speaker ni kwamba baadhi ya kaya zetu zimenyakuliwa na sasa zinaanza kujengwa majumba ya kifahari, haswa sehemu za Kwale na sehemu za Kilifi. Mambo kama haya yanaathiri utamaduni wetu kama Wamijikenda. Kwa hivyo mimi ninaunga mkono ndugu yangu Wenbaya kuleta hoja hii, na tuendelee kulinda misitu yetu, na pia itambulike, iweze kuwekwa katika kisheria kwamba kuharibu misitu ya kaya inakuwa ni hatia. Asante Speaker kwa kunipatia nafasi.
Thank you. I think we can move to the next order.
Order number 5, papers.
Majority Leader.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, as I lay these papers today, probably this is the last one for this session, is to wish and thank all members for their cooperation, and also wish them a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year, and also enjoy your recess. Those going to Rwanda, like my friend Opio and I, please enjoy the beautiful things in Rwanda. Thank you. Honorable Speaker, I beg to lay the following papers
Your point of order, Honorable Wandai. You should not have walked in.
No, Madam Speaker, Honorable Wandai is my friend. But it is wrong for him to insinuate that I am going to Rwanda for whatever reason.
I want to apologize.
The public out there might start misunderstanding. Really.
I apologize reservedly. Honorable Wandai is not going to Rwanda. Honorable Speaker, I beg to lay the following papers on the table of the House today, Thursday, 7th December 2023, afternoon sitting. The annual report of the National Police Service Commission for the financial year 2022-2023. The annual report of the Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission for the financial year 2021-2022. Reports of the Auditor General on the following reports. Reports of the Auditor General and financial statements for Busia Port Victoria Household Sanitation Program Project Grant Credit Number 02HSLV WWDA Busia 05 Busia Water and Sewerage Services Company Limited for the year ended 30th June 2021-2022 and the certificates therein. Reports of the Auditor General financial statements on increased enjoyment of human rights and fundamental freedoms by all in Kenya Project Number KEN 2062 KEN 19-011 KNHCR Kenya National Human Commission for the year ended 30th June 2022. 4. Reports of the Auditor General financial statements for the year ended 30th June 2023 and the certificates therein in respect of A. Kenya Town Sustainable Water Supply and Sanitation Program Credit Number PKE E00011 AFDB Loan Number 2000000501 Central Rift Valley Works Development Agency, Affordable Housing Finance Project IDA Credit Number 8958-KE, the National Treasury, Africa Center of Excellency, ACE 2, in Phytochemicals, Textile and Renewable Energy, PTRE Project, IDA Credit Number 5798-KE, Moi University. Power Transmission System Improvement Project Credit Number 210015002365-2, Kenya Electricity Transmission Company Limited. Multinational Rural Livelihoods Adaptation to Climate Change and the Horn of Africa ADF Grant Number 55055001201 State Department for Crop Development. All Career Lesos Kisumu Transmission Lines Construction Project JAICA Loan Number KE P28 Kenya Electricity Transmission Company Limited. NEMA's GCF Readiness and Preparatory Support, NEMA Capacity Strengthening Program towards accessing climate change from Green Climate Fund, credit number KENRS 003. Vijana Vuka na Afya Youth Program, grant number 2013-67-465, State Department for Youth Affairs. upgrading of Gilgil Machinery Road Project, Kenya Rural Roads Authority, upgrading of Kibwezi Mutomo Kitui Road Project, Kenya National Highways Authority, Eastern Africa Regional Transport Trade and Development Facilitation Project, IDA Credit 5638, Information and Communication Technology Authority, Ethiopia Kenya Electricity Highway Project, ADB loan number 2000035002, ID number PZIFAO 162, Kenya Electricity Transmission Company Limited, Kapchorua, Saum, Kitale and Eldoret Bypass Roads Project, Kenya ID number PZIDBO-183, Kenya National Highways Authority, Horn of Africa Gateway Development Project, IDA P161305, credit number 6768KE, Information and Communication Technology Authority, Sirari Corridor Accessibility and Road Safety Improvement Project, Isibania Kisii Ahero A1 Road Rehabilitation, Kenya National Highways Authority, support to road sector police 10th EDF Rural Roads Rehabilitation Project in Kenya, agreement number KE/FED/023/571, Kenya Rural Roads Authority, improvement of drinking water and sanitation systems in Mombasa Mwache Project, AFD credit facility number CKE 110301C, Coast Water Works Development Agency, Nambale Mjini Manyenje Water Project grant credit number 08W Busia 97, State Department for Economic Planning, Public Debt Management Support Project, ADB grant agreement number 5500-15501-3708, National Treasury, Youth Empowerment Program grant credit number B4210, State Department for Youth Affairs, Secondary Education Quality Improvement Project, IDA credit number 6138-KE, Teacher Service Commission, Independent Policing Oversight Authority, National Humanitarian Fund, SC Reporting Toolkit Project, technical assistance to enhance the capacity of the President's Delivery Unit, ADB grant number 5500-15501-2902 project, State Department for Internal Security and National Development, Horn of Africa Gateway Development Project, IDA credit number 6768, Kenya Revenue Authority, Horn of Africa Gateway Development Project, IDA credit number 6768 KE, National Transport and Safety Authority, multinational Kenyan section of interconnection project of electricity grids of Nile Equatorial Lakes countries, ADF loan number 210015002263, Kenya Electricity Transmission Company Limited, Kenya Livestock Commercialization Project loan number 200000365 and 20000036566, State Department for Livestock Development, Eastern Africa Regional Transport Trade and Development Facilitation Project, credit number 5638 KE, IDA Kenya Revenue Authority, National Treasury Capacity Strengthening Project, grant number 550155013902, ID number PKE K00-011, the National Treasury, supporting access to finance and enterprise recovery project, IDA number 7018 KE, National Treasury, microfinance sector support credit project, credit number CKE 300401E and CKE 601001E, National Treasury, multinational drought resilience and sustainable livelihoods program in the Horn of Africa, ADF loan number 210015002835, State Department for Crop Development, Kenya Electricity Expansion Project OFID credit number 1487P, Rural Electrification and Renewable Energy Corporation, Arusha Namanga at River Road Development Project number PZ1 DBO 40, Kenya National Highways Authority. Improvement of rural roads and market infrastructure in Western Kenya, project credit number BMZ 2007-65-123, KFW, Kenya Rural Roads Authority. Financing locally led climate action program credit number IDA 6980, TFB 6810, KE, brackets P173065, credit number IDA 6980, KE, grant agreement number TF0B 6810, loan agreement BMZ number 216-2018/2018-65-138 National Treasury. Kenya Town Sustainable Water Supply and Sanitation Program, loan number 2000-2000-000501, Tana Works Development Agency. Build resilience for food and nutrition security in the Horn of Africa, BREFONS, credit number 2100-1500-42-746, State Department for Crop Development. Kenya Climate Smart Agricultural Project, IDA credit number 5945, KE, State Department for Crop Development and Agricultural Research. And finally, Honorable Speaker, Aquaculture Business Development Program, IFAD, loan number 2000002052 and 2000002614, State Department for Fisheries, Aquaculture and Blue Economy. I thank you, Honorable Speaker, and I beg to lay. This is the longest paper I've ever laid. Thank you.
You can now catch your breath. Yes, and I know why the majority leader asked you to do it. Okay, next is, I think, Chairperson, Public Petitions Committee. You have a paper to lay? Yeah. Okay, we'll go to the one who's ready. The next one is the Chairperson, Departmental Committee on Labor. Honorable Karemba.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I beg to lay the following papers on the table of the House today, Thursday, 7th December 2023. Reports of the Departmental Committee on Labor on 1. Its consideration of the Employment Amendment Bill, Senate Bills number 11 of 2022, and 2. Its attendance to the 19th Regional Seminar for Labor-Based Practitioners in Kigali, Rwanda, from the 15th to 19th May 2023. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Vice Chairperson, Special Funds Committee.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, I beg to lay the following papers on the table of the House today, 7th December 2023. 1. Fifth report of the Special Funds Account Committee on its examination of the report of the Auditor General on the financial statements for the Commodities Fund for the financial years 2018-19, 2019-2020, 2020-2021, and 2021-2022. Number 2, the sixth report of the Special Funds Accounts Committee on its examination of the report of the Auditor General on the financial statements of the Stores and Services Fund for the financial year 2020, 2021, 2021, 2022, and the Occupational Safety and Health Fund for the financial years 2020, 2021, and 21-22. 3. The seventh report of the Special Funds Accounts Committee on its examination of the reports of the Auditor General on the financial statements for the Land Settlement Fund for the financial years 2020, 2021, and 21-22. And finally, Madam Speaker, the 8th report of the Special Funds Accounts Committee on its examination of the report of the Auditor General on financial statements for the Street Families Rehabilitation Trust Fund for the financial year 2017-18 to 2021-2022. I beg to lay the papers on the table of the House, Madam Speaker.
Honorable Richard Yagon, representing the Departmental Committee on Sports and Culture.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I beg to lay the following paper on the table of the House today, Thursday, 7th December 2023. Madam Speaker, report of the Departmental Committee on Sports and Culture on its benchmarking visit and attendance in the 2023 World Athletic Championship in Budapest, Hungary, from the 19th to 27th August 2023. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you. The Chairperson, Departmental Committee on Agriculture and Livestock. I can't see Honorable Mutunga.
I'm here.
Oh, there you are. Okay.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I beg to lay the following papers on the table of the House today, Thursday, 7th December 2023. Reports of the Departmental Committee on Agriculture and Livestock on 1. Its consideration of the Crop Amendment Bill, National Assembly Bill number 8 of 2023. 2. The coffee and tea cupping sessions held in Berlin, Germany from 12th to 18th September 2023. And 3. The summit held in Cape Town, South Africa from 22nd to 28th October 2023. I thank you, Madam Speaker, and I beg to lay.
Thank you. Next is the Vice Chairperson, Departmental Committee on Environment, Forestry, and Mining.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I beg to lay the following paper on the table of the House today, Thursday, 7th December 2023. Report of the Departmental Committee on Environment, Forestry, and Mining on its consideration of the Natural Resources Benefit Sharing Bill, Senate Bill number 6 of 2022. Thank you. I beg to lay.
Thank you. Chairperson, Departmental Committee on Defense, Intelligence, and Foreign Relations.
Yeah, here I am. Okay. Thank you, Madam Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I beg to lay the following papers, two papers, on the table of the House today, Thursday, 7th December 2023. Report on the Departmental Committee on Defense, Intelligence, and Foreign Relations on the inspection visit to Kenyan embassies in the Republic of Rwanda and the Democratic Republic of Congo, conducted on the 18th to 25th May 2023. And then, Honorable Speaker, I have a second paper to lay that is on the floor, on the table of the House today, Thursday, 7th December 2023. Report on the joint delegation from the Departmental Committee on Defense, Intelligence, and Foreign Relations and select committees on diaspora affairs and immigrant workers and delegated legislation on their participation in the One Voice Consortium OVC Trade and Investment Expo in Washington, D.C., USA, from 2nd to 11th May of 2023. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
I think there's a second report. Yes, table both. Okay. Proceed. Next is Vice Chairperson, Procedure and House Rules Committee. Honorable Kaluma.
Honorable Speaker, I beg to lay the following paper on the table of the House today, Thursday, 7th December 2023. Report of the Procedure and House Rules Committee on its consideration of 1, the Petitions to Parliament Procedure Amendment Bill, National Assembly number 51 of 2022. 2, the Political Parties Amendment Bill, National Assembly number 35, National Assembly Bill number 35 of 2022. And 3, the Public Finance Management Amendment Bill, National Assembly Bill number 38 of 2022. Thank you, Honorable Speaker, and I beg to lay.
Thank you. Chairperson, Public Petitions Committee, are you ready yet? If it's not ready, then we can move to Majority Leader. You're supposed to be the last Majority Leader. You have another one? Okay, Honorable Kaluma.
Yes, I thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I beg to lay the following paper on the table of the House today, Thursday, 7th December 2023. A report of the 63rd session of the OACPS Parliamentary Assembly and the 43rd session of the ACP EU Joint Parliamentary Assembly meetings held in Brussels, Belgium from 19th to 28th June 2023. I thank you, Honorable Speaker, and I beg to lay.
Honorable Murigi, you have a report on the CPA. Jean-Paul.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I beg to lay the following paper on the table of the House today, Thursday, 7th December 2023. Report of the 66th Commonwealth Parliamentary Conference held in Accra, Ghana from 30th September to 6th October 2023. Thank you.
I presume that, is there any other paper? Okay, I think now Majority Leader. I think it's the report on the National Dialogue Committee.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, allow me to lay the following paper on the table of the House today, Thursday, 7th December 2023. The report of the National Dialogue Committee. Honorable Speaker, a very voluminous document, and I would want to urge members to use the recess to go through this report, read, understand, and comment on issues therein, and be ready to come debate next session.
Okay, I think we can move to the next order. And I think Majority Leader forgot to say I'm the one person who has read it page to page, from the first to the last page. It's too big. Yes, your point of order?
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, sometimes back in this August House, you ordered the Majority Leader to withdraw the statement he made against my name, which was in the public domain. It is over 4 months, Madam Speaker. He's very quiet, and my name is being tarnished. I get some bad feelings when I see him carrying big papers, but he cannot write one page to apologize on the people of Sona West. Madam Speaker, the people of Sona West were wise to elect me, and they gave me 28,000 votes in the day, a day like this. Therefore, I'm wondering how Honorable Ichungo is the current Majority Leader, because we have seen many Majority Leaders come and go. But what is important, my name will remain Peter Francis Masara, the second time MP for Sona West constituency and the last mayor of Migori for purposes of record. So I'm kindly requesting your chair to tell the Majority Leader to, not only me, I don't mind, but the people of Sona West who are Kenyans. And you know we border Tanzania. Sona West has the Suba people and all other communities. They are waiting for you either to substantiate and bring documents or withdraw your statement so so that things can move on well. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Honorable Member for Suna West, I think if I recall very clearly, that matter was actually resolved here on the floor of the House. I recall that. But I think since then, I have not seen you in the House, which means maybe he made an apology and you are not here. So, welcome back. Let us proceed. Honestly, I haven't. Okay, Honorable Masara, I'll let you have your day today.
You may be right because
knock yourself out.
You may be right because I'm black. Maybe you are not able to see me always, but I'm one member who is always here. Even yesterday, and even congratulated the kind of, nowadays, the person choosing your fashion, you match everything. And maybe that's why you forget. But I'm always been here, Madam Speaker, and if you can check the answer, it will tell you that I don't miss Parliament every week or committees, and because of that, you'll also may be forced to withdraw the statement that you have never seen me. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
As your Christmas present, I've let you have your day today. That's why, that's your Christmas present. I think you've done it, and I think the people of Suna West have heard you loud and clear, Honorable Masara. So now we can move on. Yes. I think maybe the Honorable Leader for Majority wants to apologize again.
Honorable Speaker, it is indeed true what you have indicated, that that matter was settled on the floor. And besides that, I have spoken to the Honorable Masara on that particular issue. Honorable Speaker, because there are many things what the substantive speaker has called the canter and banter of debate. And many Kenyans take things that we say on the floor, at times in jest, at times for introducing some humor on the floor of Parliament, and take it out of context. And I must use this opportunity because I have indeed profusely apologized to the Honorable Masara. If there are any of his political opponents in Suna West who took advantage of what was said here to try and portray the image that is not of the Honorable Masara, because Honorable Masara is a very, very extremely dignified member of Parliament. Extremely dignified. Honorable Masara is not the kind of member of Parliament, Honorable Speaker, you will hear yelling. I know Honorable Masara sits somewhere across. It's only that today he has moved closer to the front bench so that he can be seen. And he wanted to move closer to power. And I see the Honorable Ruth Odinga has also moved closer to power. And I say that Honorable Speaker, on a serious note, ignoring what is being said that Ruth Odinga is a power, I don't know what power she holds. But I was saying the Honorable Masara, unlike a few other members who treat this House with a lot of indignity, shouting from their places, using epithets on the floor of the House against other members, the Honorable Masara, the member for Suna West, is a very dignified manner. And for the record, I want to say it for the record, because I had said it before, but in case those who cut and record clips from Parliament to take around social groups, be it in Suna West or anywhere else, now they can cut this bit where I say that the Honorable Masara, member for Suna West, is of sound mind, and nothing he does insinuates that is of unsound mind, because I know that in fact, the Honorable Masara, when he paid me a courtesy call in my office, he showed me what people were saying in WhatsApp groups in Migori County. Therefore, to the people of Migori, the people of Suna West, the Honorable Masara is a dignified member of Parliament who takes his work very seriously. Honorable Speaker, you know, he took advantage of the chance you gave him to even demand that you must now apologize and withdraw what you had said. But I can also set the record straight that indeed this morning, I did, when the quorum bell was ringing, I took liberty to walk to the tea place, and I found Honorable Masara. He had just been served his cup of tea together with Honorable Lilian Gogo. And you know, Honorable Speaker, I don't whip for the minority, but respectfully, I asked Honorable Masara to abandon his cup of tea and come give us quorum. And him and Honorable Lilian Gogo rose in their place, left their tea at the tea place, and joined us to make sure that we had quorum to transact business. That is a kind of responsible leader that the Honorable Masara is. And I take this opportunity for the second time to apologize to the Honorable Masara, the great people of Suna West and Migori County, and assure them that they voted in a member of parliament. No wonder they voted him for a second time. Honorable Masara has served his constituency as a councillor, as an MCA, before he joined parliament, and they re-elected him as mayor of Migori after Junaid Mohammed, I think. And they re-elected him in the last elections, Honorable Speaker, because of the work he has done. And I know he's a very diligent member of the Budget and Appropriations Committee. I have engaged him on matters touching on the Budget Committee. Therefore, Honorable Masara, serve your people with the dignity that you continue to serve them and serve the people of Kenya. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
What's your point of order, Honorable Wandai?
I just wanted to comment on the report that has been tabled by the Leader of Majority, the National Dialogue Committee report. I recall that I was a member of that committee. Actually, I was the delegation leader. Our leader of delegation was His Excellency Dr. Stephen Kalonzo Musyoka. Madam Speaker, the reason why I want to make a comment on this report is that since its release about a week or so ago, a lot has been said out there from various quarters. I think now, with the tabling of this report officially, now the country has got a chance to go through this report and understand it and internalize it, and therefore be able to speak from a point of information. Madam Speaker, this report, without really debating it, because I can't do that now, it is such an important report that we can't afford to have people, especially leaders, commenting on it without having read it. You see, it is responsible for a leader of whatever shade to comment on a report as important as the NADCO report without having read it. So by tabling this report, I think now the House has given Kenyans an opportunity to read this report with a tooth comb and be able to understand what is in the report, because it has got very far-reaching recommendations. But more importantly, Madam Speaker, I was discussing with the Leader of Majority a while back that the nature of the recommendations in this report are such that it may require fast tracking. What I mean is that it might require this House to dispense with the report in the normal way as quickly as possible, to give room for the processing of the attendant instruments, okay, that come with this report. And without really anticipating anything, I suppose the Leader Majority might be considering petitioning you, Madam Speaker, for us to come back here before the long recess ends to deal with this matter. Thank you.
Thank you. Next order. I'm informed there is a report that has just... Okay. Oh, petitions. Chairperson, Public Petitions Committee. You can give him. I'll sign.
Okay.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and I'm sorry for the delays made by my officers. Madam Speaker, I beg to lay the following paper on the table of the House today, Thursday, 7th December 2023, report on the Public Petitions Committee on its considerations on Public Petition number 01 of 2023 by Ms. Joyce Cherono regarding the poor implementation of the Afya medical scheme in the public secondary schools. Madam Speaker, thank you, and I beg to lay.
We don't have any more petitions, right? No more reports. We can move to the next order.
Order number 6, notices of motion.
Chairperson, Special Funds Committee, your notice of motion.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I beg to give notice of the following motion, that this House adopts the 5th report of the Special Funds Accounts Committee on its consideration of the report of the Auditor General on the financial statements for the Commodities Fund for the years 2018-19, 2019-2020, 2020-2021, and 2021-2022, laid on the table of the House on Thursday, 7th December 2023. Madam Speaker, I beg to give notice of the following motion, that this House adopts the 6th report of the Special Funds Accounts Committee on its consideration of the report of the Auditor General on the financial statements for the Stores and Services Fund for the years 2020-2021 and 2021-2022, and the Occupational Safety Health Fund for the financial years 2020-2021 and 2021-2022, laid on the table of the House.
Mr. Speaker, I beg to give notice of the following motion, that this House adopts the report of the National Dialogue Committee laid on the table of the House on Thursday, 7th December 2023. Mr. Speaker, aware that we are proceeding on recess, I know that notice may suffer some fate, but it was good for the record it be there, and in case, as the leader of minority has said, we reconvene before the end of the year, we can go ahead and consider that report. Thank you, Honourable Speaker.
Thank you. I think that was about it. Next order.
Order number 7, questions and statements.
I can see you have a point of order, the member for Molo. You have a statement. Okay. Member for Molo, let's have the responses first, and then you will come to you. So I think we'll get the response from the chairperson, Departmental Committee on Social Protection, Honorable Alex Umanganga. Member for Dhika.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, Honorable Member for Radi constituency, Honorable Boru Kahangara, requested for a statement regarding the administration and management of the National Social Security Fund on the floor of the House on 22nd November 2023. Honorable Speaker, I hereby respond the state that the Committee on Social Protection wrote to the CEO of the fund on 24th November 2023 requesting for the information sought by the Honorable Member. The fund responded in a letter addressed to the Committee on Social Protection 1st December 2023. On 1, measures put in place by the Board of the Trustee of NSSF to ensure effective management of the fund. The NSSF stated as follows: 1, that the board is established under Section 5 to 14 of the NSSF Act 2023, which has clear provision on the composition of the board, its responsibilities, powers, issues of conflict of interest, and committees of the board. That the board is strictly in compliance with the provision of the Act, specifically Section 50, 51, 52, and 71. That the board has in place robust governance structure with the following independent committees: Social Security Committee, which deals with finance and investments; Human Resource Committee that entails legal and strategy; and Audit and Risk Committee. And question number 2, mechanism that the board has put in place to ensure public participation and involvement of stakeholders in the decision-making process. The NSSF stated as follows: that the NSSF board is tripartite, composing of 2 representatives of employers organization, 2 representatives of workers organization, PS for National Treasury, PS for Ministry of Labor and Social Protection, independent chairperson, and 2 other independent members who represent the public's interest. 2, that the NSSF hold annual general meeting where key stakeholders, including the government, employers, and workers, are usually present. The next AGM will be held in this month, December 2023. That the NSSF has online and e-service platform where funds engages with its stakeholders. That the NSSF has 8 regional offices, 59 NSSF branch, and presence in 52 Huduma centers across the country. Question number 3, administrative structure that the Board of Trustees has put in place to guarantee that there is no conflict of interest in management of the said fund. The NSSF stated as follows: that the board is responsible for appointing the managing trustee of the fund as provided under Section 15 of the NSSF Act 2013. That there are 6 divisions, each headed by general manager, and 19 departments, each headed by a manager. Question number 4, the current financial statement and economic viability of the fund's investment in a fixed asset, including buildings and land. NSSF stated as follows: that the allowable exposure to real estate is 30% per the Retirement Benefit Act. The fund currently has a real estate exposure of 13%, meaning that it is underweight on the property. That the fund has prime offices property in Nairobi and Mombasa, which earn in its rental income. That the undeveloped portfolio include prime plots in Nairobi, Mombasa, Kisumu, as well as in Machakos County. The undeveloped properties earn the fund returns in form of value appreciation. That the fund also provide residential property, which it sells on tenant purchase scheme, which earns interest incomes. Honorable Speaker, that was the response from the NSSF. Unless the member for Radi, Boroka Hangara, has a follow-up question, or whether he's satisfied with the question or not. So, Honorable Speaker, would like to hear from the Honorable Member who is present today.
Thank you very much, Chairperson. The Honorable Mburu Kahangara.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. And let me take this opportunity to thank the Chair of Social Protection for bringing the answer to this House. However, Madam Speaker, I am not satisfied with the response, and I'll give a few reasons. That this House is a House whose one of the main responsibilities is representation. And the people we represent includes the Kenyans who have retired and are sitting back home enjoying their retirement. They are only able to enjoy their retirement because NSSF is mandated with investing their money and ensuring that there is a timely remittance of their dues end of every month. We are aware that these Kenyans, year in, year out, we have seen them traveling from up country, coming to Nairobi, trying to get their money. And this mainly has been because we are all aware that NSSF, as it is, has been bogged in its investment with corruption, and year in, year out, we are seeing headlines talking about scandals within NSSF. And for that matter, Madam Speaker, even at the time Court decided that they will seek that there should be some reforms done within NSSF to ensure the safety and the security of the money of these people who have invested as retirees. In question number 3, Madam Speaker, we had asked for the administrative structures that the Board of Trustees has put in place to guarantee that there is no conflict of interest in the management of the same fund. And Madam Speaker, a while back, the management sought the advice of the Public Service Commission on its management structure. From the Public Service Commission, they were advised that they should have 7 divisions. However, the NSSF board went ahead and sat, and in their board meeting, they decided that they want to merge some of these divisions. The divisions which were have been merged, Madam Speaker, raises a lot of eyebrows because they have put together the finance and investment. We are aware that in the finance department division, for example, they're supposed to review, approve auditor statements from the management. Then they're also supposed to review the books of accounts and the records. When you come to investment, they are the ones who are supposed to review issues on investment proposals and make recommendations. We cannot have these two departments together. It's like having somebody who is actually doing investment or spending, for that matter, at the same time doing oversighting on the other end.
Honorable Kahangara.
Yes, Madam Speaker.
Well, it is fully understood that the answer is from from NSSF, and the chair has presented the answer as it was presented to her. I would like you to be specific on what you are not satisfied with, so that it is easier for clarifications to be made, or even to seek for further response.
Thank you. I'm properly guided, Madam Speaker.
As opposed to debating on what they are supposed to do.
Okay. Madam Speaker, I was talking about, for example, question number 3 on the administrative structure, where there has been advice, because we are talking about conflict of interest. Why have they decided to put these 2 divisions together, finance and investment at the same time? My prayer, Madam Speaker, is that the chair on social protection and the committee should interrogate further. And probably this time around, instead of getting the answer from NSSF, we should get an answer from the committee after having interrogated properly, so that we are able to get proper answers on the questions that I had asked, Madam Speaker. I thank you.
Chairperson, Honorable Alice Nganga, would you like to make a comment?
Much, Honorable Speaker, because the matter is very weighty of what Honorable Member is requesting, and he was not satisfied with the answers that were offered by the NSSF board, then I would request you direct on what to be done, whether we can meet the board as the committee, so that those weighty questions can be addressed at that level, so that the committee can be able to report back to this House. Honorable Speaker, I was saying that you give a direction because the matter raised are very weighty, whether we can meet the board so that they can be able to answer those questions and we can lay back the report at the floor of the House in the presence of the members and the rest of the House members, yes, on the questions the member is raising today.
Thank you very much. Chairperson, I would have guided that you engage on this specific matter, that the issues that have been raised by the Honorable Kahangata as a committee, Kahangara as a committee, but since you have indicated that you would like to give the answer here, then that is accepted.
Are we good?
Next. Kahangara, you would like to make another comment, and we want to go to the next statement, please.
Okay.
Take 1 minute.
Okay. Thank you, Madam Speaker. I think the chair said, or rather was requesting that the committee meets the board, and I would love to be present within the committee so that we are able now to seek proper answers before we get to the House. Madam
Thank you
Speaker.
very much. Chair, let us take that direction, that you meet the board in the presence of the Honorable Kahangara, so that these matters can be deliberated in his presence, not only for his benefit, but for the benefit of the committee and the House.
Well guided, Honorable Speaker.
Thank you very much. Next is status on farm roads in Mwea irrigation. The Honorable Kagongo Bowen is the chairman in the House. You may proceed. Majority Leader.
Honorable Speaker, the Honorable Kagongo had to dash out for an urgent matter, and he requested that because the Honorable Mary is not in, that we table the report such that she may be given the report by the table office. So, Honorable Speaker, we take this to table the report as requested. Response to the status and development of the on-farm road in Mwea irrigation scheme. I beg to table.
Thank you very much, Majority Leader. That will be followed by the person who had requested, the Honorable Mary Maingi. That the answer has been tabled. Next, the Honorable George Kariuki, Chairperson, Departmental Committee on Transport and Infrastructure, questioned by the Honorable Kazungu. Proceed, please.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, on Thursday, 30th November 2023, the member for Ganze, Honorable Kazungu Tungure, MP, requested for a statement from the chairperson of the Departmental Committee on Transport and Infrastructure regarding the tragic death of three cashew workers in Mombasa County. Honorable Speaker, just to give a background of the matter, on Friday, 24th November 2023, 7 cashew workers were unclogging a manhole at Makupa roundabout when they got stuck inside the main drainage system. Unfortunately, 3 of the workers drowned and died and have been identified as one, Mr.
Order, Honorable George.
Yes.
Kariuki, I would like to find out whether the Honorable Kazungu Tungule, member for Ganze constituency, whether he is in the House. Yeah. So now that the Honorable member is not in the House, let that statement, I order that the statement be tabled.
I thought he was
and he will pick
in the House.
The answer from the table office. Thank you very much, Chairman. Next, on disappearance of persons in Garissa, by the Honorable Didoraso. It is going to be presented by the Honorable Didoraso. The Honorable Barrow de Cor, are you in the House?
The call is not there.
He tables? So, in the absence, thank you very much, Honorable Didoraso. You are ready to present the response to this statement, but the Honorable Barrow Decor, member for Garissa Township, is not in the House, and in that case, I order that you table the response, and he will pick it from the table office. Next.
Madam Speaker,
you have another statement to respond to. You may proceed.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker. I wish to respond to statement regarding rampant theft of coffee in Runyenje's constituency. Honorable Speaker, the Member of Parliament for Runyenje's constituency, Honorable Muchangi Karemba, sought for a statement regarding the rampant theft of coffee in Runyenjes. The Honorable Member particularly sought to be informed the measures put in place by the Ministry of Interior and National Administration to enhance security within the constituency and in coffee growing areas. 2, the measures that the ministry is taking to ensure the perpetrators are arrested and prosecuted without delay. Honorable Speaker, I wish to state as follows. Several cases of coffee theft incidents have been reported in Embu County in the recent past. Some of the factors that have contributed to the incidents include the coffee factories and societies continue to hire old and unproductive watchmen, mostly aged above 70 years. Due to their vulnerability, the watchmen are not in a position to resist the armed thugs. In most cases, the thugs normally find the watchmen asleep, tie their feet and hands with ropes, steal the coffee berries and disappear without alarm being raised. The theft is only noted in the subsequent day after the day shift watchmen report for duty. 2, some of the coffee factories and societies argue that they cannot afford to invest in proper fencing, lighting, and CCTV camera system for their premises. 3, lack of investment in security management by the factories and societies. 4, failure to heed and implement security advice given to management by security agencies. Honorable Speaker, the government, through the Ministry of Interior and National Administration, have put in place the following measures to safeguard the security of coffee cherries in the 55 coffee factories in Embu County. Deployed armed police escort in the factories management based on the quantity of coffee being held in store and coffee on transfer to markets. Majority of the coffee factories have complied, save for a few coffee factories in Runyenje's constituency, which continue to hold substantial quantities of coffee in their store before marketing without notifying the County Security Intelligence Committee. Hence, the 3 reported cases of coffee theft at the new Ena Coffee Society. Madam Speaker, the County Security Intelligence Committee has held numerous meetings with the concerned management of coffee factories and societies and have advised them on the security measures that they can deploy. Thirdly, they have enhanced investigation which has resulted to arrest and prosecution of some of the suspects. Investigations reveal that more often than not, the thugs collaborate with rogue members of the management of the factories and society. Madam Speaker, 3 officials of the society and factories have been arrested for abetting the thefts, and the case is pending before Embu Court. 2 other suspects were arrested. However, the ODPP declined to register charges against them on the basis that they are too old. Case number 412/155 of 2023. I beg to submit, Honorable Speaker.
Thank you very much, Honorable Didoraso. The Honorable Muchangi Karemba.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. while I appreciate the response from the CS and from the chair, I have made observations to this response. Honorable Speaker, that while the chair has clearly indicated that there is a case that the office of the ODPP has declined to charge based on the age of the suspect, the chair has not indicated the case registration number for the 3 officials who have been arrested and whose case is pending before Embu Court. And Honorable Speaker, this is a matter of a lot of interest from the members of the public, and especially in my constituency where the theft of coffee has been so rampant. So, Honorable Speaker, I would ask that the chair gives more details on the 3 officials. Actually, there is no harm in disclosing who these 3 officials are, and the case registration number for this matter that is pending before Embu Court. Secondly, Honorable Speaker, the request that we had made to the CS for Interior was that through the county security team that he deploys police officers to guard the coffee that is in the stores. But in the response, he has clearly indicated that mainly the coffee is escorted by armed police officers, but it is not clear. It is not clear on the factories and societies that have been provided with security.
Honorable Karemba, seek direct clarifications.
All right. So I seek clarification on the number of societies or factories in my constituencies that have been provided with security to guard the stores. So I would request for the clarification on those 2 items, the case number and then the factories and societies that have been provided with security within my constituency. That is not clear, Honorable Speaker.
Chairperson, do you by any chance have that in your response?
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker. Whereas we do not have that information, in the report by the CS, there are 57 coffee factories in Embu. And one of the glaring thing, first is the employment of watchmen, which the DSIC identified that many of them are old. Secondly, the fencing of these factories, that it is apparent that they are saying that they do not have maybe the funds to safeguard or to secure their facilities. Thirdly, I think if Honorable Karemba is asking for guarding of those facilities by security guards, then it means the factories must be prepared to pay a stipend to those individuals who are going to guard. I do not want to appear to have all the answers, but we'll be able to have conversation with Honorable Karemba, and then we'll escalate it to the CS so that they assist the factory owners and the farmers in particular. Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, before I sit down, there are other members who have sought for statement from administration and internal security. Honorable David Kiplangat regarding gruesome killing of Ms. Rachel Nyambura in Matunda town. Honorable Ali Wario regarding disappearance of...
Chair, that is not part of what is supposed to be given today, so you can just
thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Well, I saw you making an effort to give responses to the Honorable Karemba on the matters that you raised, and I
I would guide that you engage further with him in the presence of the Cabinet Secretary on these matters. Honorable Karemba, would you like to add something on that? In a minute.
Honorable Speaker, actually that is now how the matter of the coffee is dealt with at the local level, cosmetically. You're given theoretical answers, but practically nothing happens. So I sought clarification on the number of factories and societies that have been given security within Runyenje's constituency. I would be glad if that is answered by the CS through the committee.
You sought clarification on 3 matters, and my guidance will be that you interact with the committee directly in the presence of the Cabinet Secretary within the committee activities, so that you can get these answers in a better way.
Honorable Speaker, when they indicate when they will be available to listen to my concerns, I'll avail myself without fail.
Thank you. Let's move on. We have members who are seeking statements. The Honorable Timothy Toroitich. Is the Honorable Timothy Toroitich in the House? You may proceed.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I rise to request for a statement regarding the delayed payment of pension and death gratuity for teachers. Honorable Speaker, pursuant to the provisions of Standing Order 44-2C, I wish to request for a statement from the chairperson of the Departmental Committee on Finance and National Planning on delayment of pension and death gratuity for teachers. Honorable Speaker, in the recent past, there have been reported prolonged delays in the disbursement of pension payments to retired teachers, causing undue financial strain on these critical personnel who dedicated their lives to shaping the future of our nation. This situation is not only disheartening, but also undermines the value we place on the contributions of our educators to the development of our society. Honorable Speaker, it is against this background that I request for a statement from the chairperson, Departmental Committee on Finance and National Planning on the following. Chair, Honorable Speaker, could the chairperson, provide a detailed information on the number of teachers that have so far retired and or died but have not received their pensions and death gratuities respectively. Number 2, explain the specific reasons causing the delay in the timely disbursement of pension payments to retired teachers and death gratuity to the families of the deceased teachers. 3, provide detailed measures on the legal and administrative steps that should be undertaken to expedite the processing and release of pension payments and death gratuity to ensure that teachers receive their dues promptly. 4, state whether the ministry has established communication protocol to keep affected individuals informed about the status of their pension schemes and death gratuity, ensuring transparency to reduce anxiety among the beneficiaries respectively. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Thank you. The Chairperson, Committee on Finance, National Planning.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I want to thank the Honourable Member for raising this question. And considering that we have up to the 18th of December to handle committee business, we'll endeavour to handle this matter before we go on Christmas holidays. And we'll have the Secretary for Pensions, Mr. Kageka, and the PS appear before the committee and invite the Honourable Member to actually ask those questions even directly. Thank you, Honourable Speaker.
Thank you. Next is, thank you very much, the Honourable Amina Mnyazi, MP Malindi constituency.
Thank you, Honourable Speaker. I rise to request for a statement regarding the working conditions of junior secondary school intern teachers. Honourable Speaker, pursuant to the provision of Standing Order 44-2C, I wish to request for a statement from the chairperson of the Departmental Committee on Education regarding the terms of service of teachers working as interns in junior secondary schools. Honorable Speaker, there have been concerns and grievances reported by teachers working as interns in junior secondary schools across the country regarding the terms of service as offered by the government. For instance, it is reported that the interns are currently being paid a stipend of 17,000 Kenyan shillings. In the current economic situation, this is a blatant underpayment to the persons expected to actualize the new education system and risk derailing the full implementation of the CBC. This has far-reaching effects, causing emotional, physical, and financial strain on the teachers. Additionally, the confirmation of the interns to permanent and pensionable terms of service needs to be expedited to ensure job security and stability of these critical personnel. It is also noted that there are currently no clerks and accountants engaged for the GSS. This has created a loophole in the management and accountability of funds, resulting in deficiency in procuring essential teaching and learning resources. Honorable Speaker, the current staffing inadequacies coupled with lack of essential learning resources hinder effective teaching and the implementation of the CBC. Honorable Speaker, it is against this background that I request for a statement from the chairperson of the Departmental Committee on Education on the following. Number one, could the chairperson provide clarification on the timeline and process of addressing the concerns raised regarding the terms of service of intern teachers, considering that the government is in the process of extending the contract terms of the JSS intern teachers for an extra year instead of engaging them on permanent and pensionable terms. Number two, what measures are being considered to address the staffing inadequacies and resource deficiencies in school to facilitate effective teaching in CBC? Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Thank you very much, Honorable Amina. Chairperson, Departmental Committee on Education, Honorable Meli. The Vice Chair.
Madam Speaker, I think committees have up to 18th to hold their meetings, and this falls outside the number of days we are supposed to give the CS to respond to this. And therefore, Madam Speaker, we'll give our report during the next session, commencing in February 2023.
In the next session, right? Okay. Thank you very much. Honorable Amina Mjazi, you have another statement. You may proceed.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I rise to request a statement regarding the disappearance of 4 fishermen in Ngomeni waters in Malindi. Honorable Speaker, pursuant to the provision of Standing Order 44-2C, I wish to request for a statement from the chairperson of Departmental Committee on Administration and Internal Security regarding the disappearance of 4 fishermen at Watamu, Ngomeni waters in Malindi. Honorable Speaker, on Thursday, 30th November 2023, at around 3:30 p.m., 4 fishermen, namely Captain Baraka, Mr. Fahadi Abdi, Mr. Brian and Mr. Baya, set sail on a boat from Malindi Fisheries on a boat expedition. The boat, which had been hired for a duration of 24 hours, was scheduled to return on Friday. Unfortunately, the fishermen failed to return as planned, and the boat owner reported the incident to Ngomeni Station on Saturday. Subsequently, the chairperson of the Shela Beach Management Unit was informed, and the local fishermen initiated a search which yielded no success. This was also reported to the police on the 6th December 2023, but unfortunately the 4 men have not been found to date. Honorable Speaker, this unfortunate incident raises serious questions regarding the inadequacy of search and rescue operations, both in terms of human resource and equipment. The apparent lack of an effective response system for marine incidents and accidents in Malindi is a matter of concern. The situation becomes even more alarming when juxtaposed with a recent ordeal in Tana River, where a boat went missing after being deployed for food distribution. In that case, the government acted swiftly to ensure safety for all on board, highlighting a glaring disparity in response times between incidents. Honorable Speaker, it is against this background that I request for a statement from the chairperson of Departmental Committee on Administration and Internal Security on the following. Number one, what are the immediate measures the government is taking to expedite the search for the 4 men who have been missing to provide closure to the families? Question 2, explain why there is seeming absence of effective response systems for marine incidents in Malindi. And 3, set what measures are in place to ensure the availability of sufficient human resources and equipment for search and rescue operations in maritime incidents. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Thank you very much, Honorable Amina. Chairperson, Administration and Internal Security, can we get an indication of when this statement can be responded to? The chairman is not in the house. I think he has stepped out. Majority Leader? It is Administration and Internal Security.
Chair, Honorable Speaker, the chair is not there. And you know, I said I will never hold brief for any chair. And I shall not hold brief for a chair who irresponsibly refuses to come to the House. And I want to advise members of the Security Committee to deal with their chair and their vice chair if they are not in the House. Honorable Speaker, I can see the Honorable Kaluma, who is a member of the committee, maybe because I am forced to take responsibility for matters that I cannot handle, Honorable Speaker. The Honorable Tongoyo has a penchant of walking into the chamber at 4 and walking out at 4 or 5 p.m. Honorable Speaker, allow the Honorable Kaluma, who is a neighbor member of that committee, to indicate when they can respond to the statement.
Honorable Kaluma or any other member of that committee. Honorable Kaluma, do you want to take responsibility?
Yes,
and give us an
I
indication
thank you.
of when this statement can be...
Honorable Speaker, I'm the oldest member of the Administration and Internal Affairs Committee. It's the committee in which I've served since I came to this Parliament in 2013. And I want to confirm against the fear of the Majority Leader that we have a very committed chair. He was here in the morning, he contributed to the regulations concerning terrorism and left for some security matters. The Majority Leader knows how the vagaries of the security sector is. And Honorable Speaker, the Vice Chair was here. You remember the Vice Chair just tabled a statement. He's also stepped out on a call on these security issues. Honorable Chair, this request for statement by the Great Honorable Amina Mnyazi requires the most urgent attention of Parliament. I will convey it to the committee.
Honorable Kaluma, we just want an indication of when the Honorable Amina Mnyazi can get a response to the statement.
Yes, I've just indicated.
That will take a minute.
I've just indicated, Chair, that the committee will put down anything it is doing to attend to this particular statement because of its urgency.
By when?
I have the problem with our calendar and our other obligations. I don't know whether the House and Honorable Amina Mnyazi would indulge us to have a response in terms of what is tabled before the House in the new term, but in terms of action, we have a way of engaging the security sector to begin action, Honorable Chair.
So then, based on what the fact that the Honorable Kaluma is not giving us a definite time, I order that the response to this statement be given in the first week after we resume.
I thank you.
After we resume.
I'll communicate that to the committee.
Thank you very much. Yes, Majority Leader.
Honorable Speaker, now I can relay that kind of directive from the chair to the chair of that committee. But I want to restate that chairs of committees must be in the House. And we have made it clear even in the liaison committee chaired by the Deputy Speaker that at least until the order number 7 on questions and statements are done, all chairs and their vice chairs should be in the committee. I know the vice chair of the committee, the Honorable Dido Raso, is an extremely diligent member who is always in the house. And when I don't see him, I know he must be engaged elsewhere. But the chair of this particular committee is never in the house. I want to repeat that for the record and for the benefit of members of that committee. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
We move to the next, which is the Honorable Naomi Wako, directed to the Departmental Committee on Health.
Honorable Speaker, I rise to request for statement regarding the dictation of an invasive mosquito species in Marsabit County. Honorable Speaker, pursuant to the provisions of Standing Order 42.2c, I wish to request for statement from the chairperson of the Departmental Committee on Health regarding the recent detection of an invasive mosquito species in Marsabit County. Honorable Speaker, in the recent past, an invasive mosquito species, Anopheles stephensii, was detected in Marsabit County, raising public health concern within the community. This mosquito species, which is said to originate from the Middle East and South Asia, poses grave threat to the community as it is known to transmit the two most dangerous malaria parasites. Number one, Plasmodium falciparum and Plasmodium vivax. The alarming ability of the species to expand its range is of notable concern to researchers, with the species having been reported in Djibouti, Ethiopia, Sudan, Somalia, and Nigeria. The potential consequences of an increased malaria burden poses a serious threat to the hard-fought gains made in the fight against malaria. Honorable Speaker, it is against this background that I request for statement from the chairperson of the Departmental Committee on Health on the following. Number one, could the chairperson provide the current status of malaria cases in Marsabit County, stating how many cases have been reported since the detection of the species? Number two, what specific initiative has the government put in place to curb the spread of the Anopheles stephensii in Marsabit County and prevent its further expansion to other parts of the county? Number three, are there any plans for mass testing for Plasmodium falciparum and Plasmodium vivax, considering the heightened risk posed by Anopheles stephensii in Marsabit County? Finally, what measures are being implemented to sensitize the local communities in Marsabit County and raise awareness on preventive measures against the invasive mosquito species? Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Thank you very much, Honorable Naomi Wako. Chairperson, Departmental Committee on Health. Vice Chair. Honorable Majority Leader, I am forced to come back to you, Honorable Majority Leader. In the absence of the Chair and the Vice Chair.
Honorable Speaker, I know the Honorable Pukose is away on notice. And let me commit, because I can pick it up with him, at least within the first 2 weeks after we resume.
Thank you. Next, member, the Honorable Teresia Wanjiru Mr. Honorable Teresia Wanjiru, nominated member in the House. You may proceed, Honorable Teresia Wanjiru.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Honorable Speaker, pursuant to Standing Order 44-2C, I wish to request for a statement from the Chairperson, Departmental Committee on Tourism and Wildlife, regarding the attacks on humans by Malaudin hyenas in Wetaidia Ward in Juja constituency. Honorable Speaker, in the recent past, runway hyenas have been causing mayhem to the residents of Juja constituency and its environs. In a span of a few months, hyenas have attacked several people and caused deaths of more than 8 lives. On Saturday, 18th November 2023, a young boy named Emmanuel Kamande of birth certificate entry number 0361306229 lost his life following an attack by hyenas while innocently playing outdoors in Yashafa area. Recently, at around 6 a.m. on Saturday, 2nd December 2023, Ms. Joyce Wamboi Ngombi of ID number 36066245 was mauled to death by hyenas while on her way to work. Honorable Speaker, these distressing occurrences have instilled fear and apprehension in the residents of Juja. Hyena attacks have also hindered the once untroubled outdoor activities by children and severely restricted residents' freedom to go about their daily activities at night, all in the early morning hours due to safety concerns. The hyenas are believed to be hibernating in abandoned quarries in the Rugo area in Juja, from where they attack residents and retreat to hide. Of concern, no effective measures have been instituted so far to ensure the safety of residents and prevent further tragic incidents meted on residents by the Malaudin hyenas. Honorable Speaker, it is on this background that I seek a statement from the Chairperson of the Departmental Committee of Tourism and Wildlife on 1, the circumstances under which runway hyenas have been roaming within Juja and Ruiru areas without intervention of the Kenya Wildlife Services. 2, the steps that the ministry is taking to round up the stray hyenas in within Juja and Ruiru and contain them in appropriate game reserve or parks. And 3, the measures that the ministry has taken to compensate victims of hyena attacks who sustained injuries and the families who lost their loved ones due to attacks by hyenas. I thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Thank you very much, Honorable Teresia Wanjiru. Chairperson, Departmental Committee on Tourism and Wildlife. Is the chairperson in the House? The vice chairperson in the House? The Honorable Majority Leader? I'm forced to come back to you. Please tell us when this response can be given.
Honorable Speaker, again, this is Honorable Kareke Mbuki, and the Vice Chair are also missing, as usual. And I will relay it to them within the first 2 weeks after we open.
The Majority Leader, in the first 2 weeks, you will get the response. Thank you. The Honorable Onesmus Gogoyo, member for Kajiado North. You may proceed.
Thank you. Madam Speaker, pursuant to the provision of Standing Order 44-2, I wish to request for a statement from the Chairperson of the Departmental Committee on Transport Infrastructure regarding the status of launched roads and projects in Kajiado North constituency. Honorable Speaker, on 23rd of April 2023, His Excellency the President launched roads project which traverse within Kajiado North and Kajiado West constituencies that have stalled during the previous regime for upgrading to bitumen standard. These projects include 1, Ongata Rongai Gataka Embulbul Road, 2, Cooperative College, Karen, Matasia, Ngoroi, 3, Ongata Rongai Nazarene University, Rimpa Road, and 4, Junction C58, which is Magadi Road, Lewisa Academy, to Kahara Upper Matasia Market Road. The upgrade of this road has encountered delays, occasioning great inconvenience to the resident. Further, concerns have been raised regarding the deteriorating of the roads, resulting to disruption of movement in the area. Honorable Speaker, it is against this background that I request for a statement from the chairperson of the Departmental Committee on Transport and Infrastructure on the following. 1. What is the status of upgrading to bitumen standard of the above mentioned roads? 2. What is the expected completion date of the roads, considering that most sections of this road are now impassable due to the rains? 3. What measures is the Ministry of Roads and Transport taking to ensure that the contractor is paid for the 40% portion of the roads that are complete? Thank you, Mr. Speaker, Madam Speaker.
Thank you very much, Honorable Onesmus. Chairperson, Transport and Infrastructure. I had seen him in the House. Vice Chairperson. In the absence of the Chair and the Vice, the Honorable Majority Leader.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I will continue to slave for my good chairs, but the Honorable GK was here. I don't know when he stepped out. And as I've said with the others, within the first 2 weeks after we resume.
Thank you very much, Majority Leader. The Honorable Mark Mwenje, Member for Embakasi.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. This is a request for a statement regarding insecurity at City Carton, Kariobangi South Ward in Embakasi West constituency. Honorable Speaker, pursuant to the provisions of Standing Order 44-2C, I wish to request for a statement from the Chairperson of the Departmental Committee on Administration and Internal Security regarding the ongoing insecurity at City Carton, Kariobangi South Ward in Embakasi West constituency. Honorable Speaker, there has been an ongoing conflict related to occupation and settlement of residents in City Carton area. On Sunday, 3rd December 2023, there was an uproar that resulted in injuries and destruction of properties. The conflict has raised concern and anxiety amongst the residents, which risks escalating the conflict between communities. The area is public land that has faced various irregular allocation attempts at acquisition. Honorable Speaker, it is against this background that I request for a statement from the Chairperson of the Departmental Committee on Administration and Internal Security on the following. 1. What measures are being put in place by the Ministry of Interior and National Administration to enhance security within the constituency and especially the City Carton area? 2. What measures is the Ministry of Interior and National Coordination taking to ensure the perpetrators are arrested and prosecuted without delay? I thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Thank you very much, Honorable Mwenje. Chairman, Chairperson, Administration and Internal Security. I think we just, he's not in the House, and the Vice Chair has just stepped out. The Honorable Kaluma.
Yes, Speaker, may your earlier directions in regard to the matter previously presented apply. Even as we wait to report as a committee in the first week, Honorable Speaker, upon our return, I would want to say that we have taken note of what Honorable Mwenje has stated, and we are going to convey to the relevant government agencies for necessary actions and interventions, even awaiting our report. Thank you, Honorable Chair.
Thank you very much, Honorable Kaluma. The Honorable Shakil Shabir, Member for Kisumu East. He is not in the House. We proceed to the next one. The Chairperson, Finance.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I would like to make a statement regarding the stabilization of fuel prices and the expenditures on fuel subsidy and fuel stabilization. Honorable Speaker, in April of 2021, the Government of Kenya introduced pump price stabilization mechanism to cushion consumers from the high pump prices following escalation of global prices post-COVID-19 recovery. This was exacerbated by adverse geopolitical situation at the time brought about by the Russia-Ukraine war, which affected the local market in as far as supply of the cost in the as far as the supply and the cost of petroleum products was concerned. Price stabilization was implemented in the petroleum pump pricing cycle starting the 15th of April 2021, resulting in the emergence of the fuel price subsidies. Over the period of 15th April 2021 to 14th of May 2023, the government utilized funds from both the Petroleum Development Fund and the Exchequer to pay the subsidy amounts. There were witnessed delays in remitting of the subsidy payments to the oil marketing companies, leading to cash flow constraints and payment arrears, which in turn had a negative effect in the security and supply of the petroleum products. On assumption of this administration on the September of 2022, the subsidy on super petrol was eliminated, while subsidies on diesel and kerosene were progressively reduced. The Petroleum Development Fund, Honorable Speaker, is established under the Petroleum Development Fund Act of 1999, then revised in 2006, which was enacted to provide the establishment of a petroleum levy to feed into the fund. The Act provides that there shall be paid out from the fund such monies as are necessary for the development of the common users facility, for the distribution or testing for oil products, and for matters relating to oil industry, as the Minister may direct, provided that the funds are not used for purposes in the competition with the private sector. Pursuant to the provisions of the Act, the Administrator of the Fund is the Principal Secretary, National Treasury, or any person appointed by him in writing for that purpose. The Act further stipulates that the expenditure from the fund shall be on the basis and limited to the annual budget, which shall be submitted to the National Treasury for approval before the beginning of the financial year to which the budget relates. In the event budgetary resources in the fund are not sufficient to finance the stabilization of prices, the National Treasury shall submit a supplementary budget to regularize any payment for fuel subsidies over and above the budgetary resources for the fund. Honorable Speaker, during the period, the total funding for fuel subsidy and stabilization amounted to Kenya shillings 169,897,737,529.90, broken down as follows. For the financial year 2020-2021, monies withdrawn from the Petroleum Development Levy was 1.6 billion shillings and 0 shillings from the Exchequer. For the financial year of 2021-2022, a total of 22,112,877,759.25 were withdrawn from the Petroleum Development Levy, while 56,039,440,886.15 were withdrawn from the Exchequer. For the financial year 2022-2023, 20,360 million shillings were paid from the Petroleum Development Levy, and 42,715,003,623.70 were withdrawn from the Exchequer. For the financial year 23-24, a total of 27,070,415,260.80 were withdrawn from the Petroleum Development Levy, and 0 shillings from the Exchequer. So consequently, Honorable Speaker, for the financial year 2020, 2021, 21, 22, 22, 23, and 23, 24, so far, the withdrawals from the Petroleum Development Levy is 71,143,293,020 shillings and 5 cents, whereas 98,754,404,509.85 were withdrawn from the Exchequer for payment of subsidies. The details for this for the entities that were paid this state for the subsidy and the Petroleum Development Fund is annexed on Appendix 1 in the statement I'm tabling, Honorable Speaker. This therefore means that as at 2nd of June 2023, there was an outstanding balance of 45.8 billion shillings that was supposed to be paid for subsidies incurred in the financial year 21-22 and 22-23 on 23. Consequently, National Treasury decided to securitize this 45.8 billion shillings by issuing a treasury bond. Honorable Speaker, this statement layers bare the information or truth about the use of fuel subsidy vis-a-vis fuel stabilization fund, Honorable Speaker. The stabilization, this fuel stabilization is being drawn from the Petroleum Development Fund as stipulated by the provisions of the Petroleum Development Fund Act of 2000, as revised in 2006. Whereas the subsidies, Honorable Speaker, are being made from the exchequer. So this has led to a total standing bill of 45 billion shillings, which National Treasury is curing and has already cured by issuing a Treasury bond to that particular effect, Honorable Speaker. And I beg to lay the statement, and hopefully this clears the air on whether the government of Kenya is embarking on subsidies. What the government of Kenya is now doing is price stabilization, and using the funds that every Kenyan pays when you buy each liter of petrol through the Petroleum Development Fund. With that, I beg to submit, Honorable Speaker.
Thank you very much. Chair, delegated legislation.
On his behalf.
Leader of Majority.
Leader of Majority.
No, delegated.
Chair, thank you. And let me first thank the Committee of Finance and the Chair for being very diligent in their work. And thank the Chair for the statement he has given. Honorable Speaker, we have seen a lot of misinformation in the media. And I saw a member of Parliament from the other house, of course not from this house. This house has very well seasoned members and very diligent in their work. And I saw a senator, not in the Senate, because I don't want to discuss senators with their work in the Senate, but the moment you appear in a press conference and say things that you have no information on, Honorable Speaker, I do hope that that senator will now take time to interrogate the statements and the work that has been done by a finance committee to be able to see facts of what he claimed was 17 billion shillings, which he claimed in the media that this was a 17 billion shillings oil that belonged to some lady, Honorable Speaker, and said that 17 billion shillings had been drawn from the exchequer without approval. Honorable Speaker, that particular senator represents a coalition in Parliament, a coalition that has made it its business to misinform the country. I'm happy that the Chair of Finance has now made the record clear and set the record straight. That matters to do with fuel subsidy are extremely different or totally different from issues fuel stabilization. That when the Kenya Kwanza government, Honorable Speaker, said we shall not engage in subsidizing fuel, and because the cost for subsidizing fuel was unbearable for this country's economy, Honorable Speaker, you will see from the statement delivered by the Chair that 98 billion shillings, 98 billion shillings, close to 100 billion, was spent in a period of 2-3 months. Honorable Speaker, it tells you on average, we're incurring probably about in the region of 30 billion shillings, about 1 billion shillings a day to subsidize fuel. We have just tabled the National Dialogue Committee, Honorable Speaker, and part of our points of divergence between us and our colleagues in Azimio was on the question of subsidizing fuel. And we made it clear that subsidies in fuel cannot be tenable in an economy like ours, Honorable Speaker. The cost is unbearable. The problems that we are talking about today with our economy, Honorable Speaker, part of those problems emanated from those careless subsidies that we got into in the last 2-3 months before the last general elections. And what are you intending to do? Hoodwink Kenyans that we have made fuel cheaper when
the basics of what you should do to make fuel cheaper remain the same. But it comes with a cost to the taxpayer. That is a cost taxpayers are paying today. That is a tax Kenyans are paying today. That is a burden that we bear today, that 6 months after the end of the beginning of the financial year, we don't have a shilling disbursed on NGCDF. It is not enough for members of parliament to say there is no parliament without CDF. We have a duty and a responsibility to ensure that we make sure that macroeconomic policies that are pursued by government are right, sustainable, and those that can last a lifetime, not last an election period. Because we saw policies in the last regime that were supposed to last 2-3 months to cure a problem of an election because people wanted to sell an agenda and a candidate who could not be sold. Honorable Speaker, I thank Kenyans that they saw through, they could read through the lies. But the pain they bear today out of those things, Honorable Speaker, is what the Chair Finance is tabling today. Honorable Speaker, I want to speak to Senator Omtata. It was one thing to be a public litigant in the courts. It's another thing to be a legislator and to be a leader. I want to plead to Senator Omtata and all of us to become leaders. When we make public pronouncements, let them be based on actual empirical data that is factual, not just throwing out statements out there to create political narratives and insinuations against personalities that are serving in the executive, because I heard him say that 17 billion shillings was drawn, I don't remember, by CS Davis Chirchir and CS Kipchumba Murkomen. Honorable Speaker, we must carry the institution of parliament with the dignity it deserves. And because many of us say things in parliament where you think you have immunity from prosecution by people when you defame them or slander their names, Honorable Speaker, we then have to carry ourselves with a lot of dignity and be careful on what we say about other people's names and the conduct of their offices. Honorable Speaker, that report now is of that statement from the Finance Committee is a public record. I want to ask our media houses, let them get these public records now, so that even as they perpetuate those things that are said to push political narratives, they may not find it within their space to invite the member for Molo to set the record straight, but at least there is a record, a public record that they can refer to. And those who can read and interpret, they should be able to read and interpret, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I support that statement, and I truly hope that all Kenyans now have facts as they have been laid. Kenyans now know 17 billion that was paid from the exchequer was payments for fuel subsidy incurred under the previous government. In the last supplementary budget that we passed in this House only 3 weeks ago, we paid another 4 billion shillings. And it's not subsidy incurred by this government. So, Honorable Speaker, when we say out there, we are carrying the burdens from the past. There are those who tell us, oh, don't point fingers at others. We are not pointing fingers. We are stating facts as they are. You put our country and our economy into a very deep hole and a ditch that we are cleaning up your mess. Give us peace and space to clean up your mess without shouting and making a lot of noise. Please give us space. Please. Even those who are yesterday telling us to put money. Honorable Speaker, you know, I heard somebody telling us to put money in the political parties fund, 6 billion shillings, Honorable Speaker. At a time Kenyans in the north are marooned by floods. The Azimio coalition, all they can do is ask for money to hold rallies and hold caucuses, political party caucuses, into the political parties fund. I support what this House did in cutting funds to the political parties fund and taking that money to the people of the north
who are living without food, who are living without medicine after being cut out by floods, Honorable Speaker. It is a height of irresponsibility with leadership to be asking for money to buy bread and tea and mandazis at some place somewhere in Lavington or Capitol Hill, Honorable Speaker, at the expense of Kenyans. Yet, when you speak in funerals, you are telling us, oh, the cost of living. How do you bring down the cost of living by putting money in the political parties fund to go and fund your political activities? We need to be honest with each other. We need to look at each other, like I'm looking at the Honorable Dr. Nyikal, and tell each other the truth, that we are not helping this country by playing politics with the dire situation of our economy. And we're not even bold enough to tell the Kenyan people that the cost of living is where it is, largely because of missteps of the last regime that we were cheering on, because we had what was infamously called a handshake. God forbid that those things of handshake will ever set foot in this country again. You remember we had a mongrel, Honorable Speaker, of a system of government that was called handshake, where there was no government, there was no opposition, nobody knew. In fact, Honorable Speaker, I am glad that we transformed ourselves, even as with very derogatory terms they refer to us as tanga-tanga and other derogatory terms. We transformed ourselves into an opposition that kept them on their toes. But even as we did that, they still had the guts to steal 6 billion shillings 2 days before an election. And today they can tell us about... Anyway, Honorable Speaker, let me leave it there. Thank you.
Chair, delegated legislation.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, just before I read what I'm delegated to do, it's very important to actually comment on the statement made by Honorable Kimani Korea, Chairperson of the Finance Committee. It is extremely important to understand what is happening in the country and the deliberate efforts the government is taking to ensure that we stabilize this country and the economy of this country. I just want to make reference to what Honorable Ichung'wah has said about the political parties fund, which really is largely overfunded. For what reason? We have no idea. Especially a time like now, when we have to string ourselves because we got a myriad of problems in the country, including the phenomenon, the catastrophe of El Nino. And then here we are with a political parties fund having 1.4 billion. Finance committee, budget committee, the House did a wonderful thing to actually reallocate that money to more pressing issues and the more pressing needs for this country. And that is the way to go, and there is no other way to go.
Honorable Murungara, you have made that comment now.
Back to my delegation
go to the
now.
Matter for the delegated
Yes.
legislation.
Honorable Speaker, I make this statement on behalf of Honorable Chepkonga Kiprono Samuel, CBS MP, Chairperson Committee on Delegated Legislation. Statement on status of statutory instruments before the Committee on Delegated Legislation pursuant to Standing Order number 442D and Standing Order number 210-5A. Honorable Speaker, I rise pursuant to Standing Order number 442D and Standing Order 210A to report to the House the list of the statutory instruments approved under paragraph 4A. The committee has received a total of 18 statutory instruments since the 1st of October 2023. It has considered and concluded 10 statutory instruments which were approved pursuant to Standing Order number 210-4A. Reports on 3 statutory instruments have been tabled in the House for its approval pursuant to the enabling statutes. There are, however, 5 pending statutory instruments before the committee for its consideration. A detailed list of the statutory instruments that the committee has considered is attached hereto for the House to note, which I also table. Honorable Speaker, I I wish to appreciate your office and the office of the Clerk of the National Assembly for the facilitation that the Committee on Delegated Legislation has been accorded, which has enabled it to consider the statutory instruments referred to within the timelines provided for in the Statutory Instruments Act 2013. I also would like to appreciate the committee members for their diligence and timely consideration of the business before the committee. I take this opportunity to wish all the members well as the House proceeds on a well-deserved recess. I submit. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Honorable Murugara, on behalf of the Chairperson, Delegated Legislation. Next order. Leader of Majority.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
It's not being debated, so now the opportunity is for the Majority Leader. Majority Leader, you may proceed.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. You know, the Honorable Ruko is a very diligent member. That's why he was eager to comment on the delegated legislation statement. Honorable Speaker, this is the usual Thursday statement pursuant to the provisions of Standing Order 44.2a. I rise to give the following statement on behalf of the House Business Committee, which met on Tuesday, 5th December 2023, to prioritize the business for consideration during the week. Honorable Speaker, as members are aware, the House is scheduled to proceed for the long recess, commencing after today's session. Going by our calendar of regular sittings, members will have the opportunity to go back to their constituencies and counties to recharge and reconnect with their families and constituents over the Christmas recess. Honorable Speaker, I wish to take this opportunity to thank the leadership of the House from across the aisle and all members for their active participation during the second session of the 13th Parliament that has seen the conclusion of various priority items of business. The House sat longer on some days and had additional sittings to conclude all this business, Honorable Speaker, notably the Thursday morning sittings and at times having to sit beyond our normal sitting times. Honorable Speaker, for information of members, during this session, the House held 123 regular sittings, one joint sitting. Additionally, the House passed 16 bills and considered 71 bills at various stages. I wish to commend the chairpersons of committees for their active participation during the session that saw a conclusion of a number of committee reports, including those on the vetting of various public officers, such as the chairperson of the Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission, the Director General of the National Intelligence Service, and High Commissioners, ambassadors, and permanent representatives, among us several others. Additionally, several key issues were concluded during the year, among them passage of the progressive universal health coverage laws, which are set to transform and change healthcare in Kenya in ensuring that every Kenyan has access to affordable and quality healthcare. Honorable Speaker, as we recollect and appreciate what has been achieved, I would like to remind all honorable members that we still have a significant number of legislative proposals, bills, and other statutory instruments that will certainly need our keen attention, when the House resumes our sittings on Tuesday, 13th February 2024, God willing. Honorable Speaker, I also wish to take this opportunity to inform honorable members that the House may be recalled for a special sitting pursuant to the provisions of Standing Order 29.1 to consider important pending business and any other urgent business that may arise in the interim. Honorable Speaker, allow me to conclude on behalf of the House Business Committee and on behalf of the people of Kikuyu constituency whom I represent, on behalf of myself and my family, to take this opportunity to wish all of you, including yourself, Honorable Speaker, all members, their families and constituents, a Merry Christmas, a happy festive season, and God willing, a prosperous year 2024. And I now wish to lay this statement on the table of the House. Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I had another statement and I'll beg your indulgence because this matter touches on very sensitive issues that may need the attention of every member of parliament. I'll beg to do this statement when we resume after the recess. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Thank you, Majority Leader. Next order.
Order number 8, motion, the prevention of terrorism, implementation of the United Nations Security Council resolutions on suppression of terrorism regulations 2023. Resumption of debate.
Since there was no one, nobody had any remaining minutes on this motion, so I call upon the Honorable Captain Raila. Honorable Cap, please trace the Honorable Captain Raila somewhere at the back.
Asante Bispika kunipatia nafasi nami nipate kuchangia. Bispika, swala la ugaidi ni swala lenye utata sana, na ugaidi kusema la kweli hauna dini wala kabila. Bispika, sehemu nayotoka Lamu imekuwa kwenye vyombo vya habari mara nyingi kwa sababu ya mambo ya ugaidi. Wengine wanakuwa kwa vyombo vya habari kwa sababu ya utaalamu fulani, lakini sisi saa zote tukitajwa kwa habari ni mambo ya ugaidi. Bispika, eneo langu linaathirika sana na mambo ya ugaidi. Ikizungumziwa swala la ugaidi, tunazungumza kutoka kwenye roho zetu, ni mambo ambayo tunajua yanatuathiri. Bispika, leo kuna mmoja nataka ameuawa, nataka nitoe pole zangu kisha niendelee na mazungumzo haya. Bispika, kwangu Lamu Mashariki kuna athirika kiuchumi. Watu wanaishi Basuba Ward, wadi ya Kiunga, wanaathirika sana kwa upande wa kupeleka chakula. Mbali na sahihi kwamba kuna mafuriko, huwa kukiwa na shida ya mafuriko huwa ni shida nyingine imekuja. Shida iko vile vile kule kwetu, ni mambo yanatusumbuka. Usafiri umekuwa ni shida kusababishwa na hawa magaidi au tunaozungumzia ugaidi, kwa sababu kuna zile zinaitwa IDs wanaweka kwa barabara. Mtu kutoka Hindi kwenda Basuba Ward kwenda Kiunga ni lazima sahihi, hakutumiki barabara, lazima atumie pikipiki. Yote yamesababishwa na hiyo masala ya ugaidi. Watu barabara imekuwa haitumiki kabisa. Nashukuru serikali imeamua kuiweka lami hiyo barabara, lakini kwa sasa barabara hiyo haitumiki. Usafiri unatumika ni pikipiki. Pikipiki unalipa 7,500 ndio ufike sehemu hizo kubeba bandali za unga 2. Eneo hiyo yote ya Kibasuba na Kiunga imeathirika kwa sababu development, yani maendeleo hayafanyiki. Ukitaka kupeleka mradi kule unaambiwa huku mradi haufanyiki kwa sababu ya utovu wa usalama. Yote yanatajwa hayo kwamba kuna mambo ya ugaidi. Bispika, tumeteseka sana, lakini nataka leo nizungumze kuhusu swala hili. Mimi leo nina hofu ya kuunga au kukataa, kwa sababu ikiwa ni swala la ugaidi lazima nisome na nielewe. Manake tumeona majimambo Lamu yanafanyika ambayo yanaleta utata, hatuelewi. Bispika, kuna watu hutumia nafasi hizi wakatumia kwamba kuna magaidi, basi ukafanywa uhalifu wa wenyewe kwa wenyewe, kisha ikasabika ni magaidi. Speaker, hofu yangu kubwa mimi ni sheria zisitumike au wengine wakatumia kugandamiza jamii zingine ili kisha utaje ni magaidi. Speaker, kule Lamu kuna utata. Kuna watu wameuawa kwa sababu ya mambo ya biashara. Mtu hakupendi aseme huyu ni gaidi. Haya mambo yanafanyika, tunajua watu kwa majina ambao wameuawa na wakaambiwa ni magaidi, kumbe si magaidi, kumbe mtu anataka shamba lake, au kumbe mtu anashindana naye kwa sababu ya mafuta na mambo mengine mengi kama hayo. Inatuogopesha isije ikatumika. Kwa mfano sahihi, Lamu, mimi nasikitishwa sana. Ukiangalia ndugu zetu walokuja Lamu ni wenzetu. Kenya ni moja. Utaona jamii hiyo iko Lamu. Kutoka sisi ni wadogo. Na wamekaa na wazee wetu vizuri na sisi tumekaa nao vizuri, hakuna chuki. Lakini kuanza siasa zianze, Speaker, imekuwa watu wanauawa. Na katika kuuawa utaona hofu imeingia katika jamii fulani, jamii yangu. Wao ukiwaambia nenda kwenye mashamba wanasema sisi tunaogopa kwenda kwenye mashamba kwa sababu tutaonekana kule tuitwe ni magaidi. Wa vijana wamekuwa hawendi mashambani, wao ni kwenda kwa bahari peke yake. Lakini utaona jamii zingine wamekuja na ukihesabu na wanaendelea kuja na wako wengi na paka wamekuwa na kiburi ya kusema kwamba viti vote watachukua. Lakini huku tunaambiwa kuna magaidi. Magaidi hao mimi nataka serikali ichunguze kwa sababu kuna mambo yamefanyika, watu wanajificha kwenye ugaidi. Kwa mfano kitu kimoja nataka nizungumze, Wakenya hawajui na nataka nielezee hapa leo wajue. Kuna kanisa ilichomwa. Ilipochomwa kanisa ilikuwa nionyeshe wazi, ilete vita baina wa Kristo na Waislamu. Manake kuna watu wamefaidi kugombanisha between wale wabajuni au wakazi wa Lamu na jamii ingine. Sasa wanataka kuenda zaidi, wagombanishe, wafanye mambo ya kidini ndio mtu pengine apate siasa au ajinufaishe yeye kisiasa. Lakini Speaker, sisi Lamu twapendana na wale wanaokaa Lamu watakwambia sisi tunapendana. Speaker, kanisa ilipochunguzwa alochoma kanisa ni Muridhi Robert na iko OB namba ambayo ni 371 mkwaju 170 mkwaju 23 na ameshikwa na iko paka file number, amefungwa miaka 8. Ni nini mtu alikuwa ataka kanisa ichomwe? Wakristo waone kwamba Waislamu wamechoma kanisa, unaoenda wakachome msikiti, vita vianze Lamu, hiyo mgawanyiko baina Waislamu na Wakristo. Lakini Mungu akatusaidia, yule alochoma akashikwa na akapelekwa. Na kanisa zilichoma 2 wakati mmoja saa moja. Speaker, nataka niwaeleze wenzangu hapa waelewe ile Lamu inavyoenda. Na nataka Waziri Kindiki, naona ni mchapakazi na anajua kazi yake, achunguze maneno yangu na aangalie maneno ya Lamu. Lamu kuna shida zaidi ya shida. Mimi nashangazwa, sisi tunajua kutoka sisi ni wadogo kulikuwa mwanzo kuna shifter war. Shifter war sisi tulikuwa tunajua kila ukipita kuna sehemu 3 lazima mnanyamaza nyote, mnapita, ndio baada hapo mna watu unaanza kuzungumza mkipita na basi. Sehemu hizo ndio sehemu hizo sahihi watu wamekaa na ndio sehemu zinapatikana Al-Shabaab. Waziri aangalie, na mimi najua serikali yatumia uwezo wake na wana uwezo wa kufuatiliza. Na kuna nyuma wakati wa shifter war jamii za wabajuni waliokaa barani wote walifukuzwa, ikaambiwa ni kuna shifter war. Hizi ugaidi inabadilika majina peke yake Lamu, lakini kutoka kitambo mambo haya yako na yamekuwa kituathiri. Speaker, sheria tunazozitunga hapa ni paka tuangalie na wanaokuwa na hizi sheria wasigandamize wengine. Hatutaki Mkenya yoyote aumie. Sisi tunataka Mkenya akae popote, bora watu waheshimiane na isiwe watu watatumia ugaidi wakatumia kusema kwamba kitu pengine mtu ameuawa yeye mwenyewe, wameuana wao kwa wao, kisha akasema ni ugaidi. Mwanzo inawapatia popularity, wao wataka kujulikana kwa media, na pengine jambo limetokea huku. Speaker, nataka kukwambia hapa Lamu sisi wale wahalifu wote wa Kiambu, wahalifu wote wa sehemu zingine, kaunti zingine, wanaenda kujificha zaidi ya miaka 8. Kuna mmoja ameshikwa zaidi ya miaka 8 kule Lamu, kule Salama, akikimbia huku anaenda kujificha huku, anakuwa most wanted, ana DCI washashika mtu kule. So pia mpaka tujue, isiwe kwamba ni magaidi tu na wale wahalifu wanaokwenda kujificha kule, kwa sababu kama sisi Wabajuni kuna wahalifu wanakimbia kule kwetu visiwani wakaenda Kisauni. Kwa sababu ya nini? Kuna Wabajuni wengine kule wanajificha wakaenda Kisauni kule wakajificha, na kuna wajamii wengine ambao iko huku, wahalifu wao wanajificha kule Msalama, Widho na kwingine. Kwa hivyo mimi ningeomba serikali jambo hili waingilie kwa kina, watafute nguvu zote, sisi zimetuathiri zaidi, na jambo hili likome. Asante Bi Speaker.
Thank you. Asante sana Captain Ruweida. The Honorable Beatrice Elachi, member for Dagoretti North.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I also rise to support the prevention of terrorism implementation of the United Nations Security Council resolutions on suppression of terrorism regulation. Madam Speaker, when you look at our country, for the many years that we have gone through, and when I listen to my sister from Lamu, we realize indeed, yes, we have a serious issue that we need to deal, especially with our young people who have gone through radicalization, who are also part of the challenges that we are talking about. Madam Speaker, when I look at the regulations, and I want us to appreciate that our Constitution and the laws that we have passed in this country are very clear laws that can guide us, even as we look at this resolution of AL number 152 of 2023. You realize, whereas that we are talking about preparing regulations or putting in regulations that can now carry in the act itself, but we know that we have the Prevention of Terrorism Act of 2012, we know that we have the Prevention of Organized Crimes Act 2010, and even the Proceeds of Crime and Anti-Money Laundering Act of 2009. Now, when we are talking about money laundering, Madam Speaker, there are many ways in this country that people are laundering money. Yes, we will look at the way they do their washes and the black, but today there is a new system, Madam Speaker, which I would wish even KRA should look at it, that you enter into a place and you want to buy something, and you're told you cannot pay by card, you can only pay by M-Pesa, and you must withdraw. And you wonder, and you ask them, why? Why can't I just go through, either you give me a till number, or a pay bill number, or I use a card? So you can shop even 100,000, and this person tells you, no, no, no. And nowadays, now they have changed now the system. They say, yes, you can pay by card, but you are supposed to pay in even for the charges. And I would wish KRA guys to look around, and there are many of these shops that are doing that, Madam Speaker. And that is how, when we started following up the money launderings that were being done through the M-Pesas and all that, this is how people changed slowly and went back into another system of still money laundering. Madam Speaker, if we want to cure this money laundering, we have to look at the small businesses. You know, you can wonder why you have a business, you don't see anything in it, but many people have opened such a business, Madam Speaker, and you'll just see the front, but the back is very critical. And I'll tell you, Madam Speaker, I am from a constituency called Dagoretti North. In Dagoretti North, I have one side where Kenyans are living very humbly. I have another side where I have my foreigners who have come in and flooded in. They do different kinds of businesses, Madam Speaker, even some houses. You can go, see trucks coming in at night, but that gate will never open at daytime. And even if you go there with who, it cannot open. Funny businesses that are just happening. And so if we are talking about looking at now the law and the regulations that we are putting in, we must ask ourselves, are we able as a country even to just monitor? Which we are, Madam Speaker. And by the way, we have the best. If there is a back room that we have that you can see everything that is happening in Nairobi, it is in Kenya. We have the best security surveillance that you can monitor anything happening at any given time. And a good example, Madam Speaker, is when we lost the young accountant of Nairobi Hospital. You realized you could monitor every step that young man went. It means everything that happens within Nairobi, everything that is happening within Kilimani, you can see. So for me, I would want us, as we support the delegated committee on these regulations, and when I look at it and just read one, let's say 9, the committee shall compile a domestic list comprising of specified entities under Section 3 of the Act. And when you look at those things that they are listing down, if indeed we can follow the name, including any alias or title of the entity, the place and date of birth, the origin, if there are passport numbers or identity card numbers, your gender, physical and postal address. I align that, Madam Speaker, that when I was the Speaker in the County of Nairobi, we had done a very vigorous process with the Ministry of Housing. We were supposed to do addressing of every Kenyan, and we finalized. And it was a World Bank program, Madam Speaker, which would have helped us to understand when we have even new people coming in, you can understand. The same way when you enter the US, there is no way you can just fizzle out from there. They will know you've entered. The same way you are going to Rwanda today, those who are going, definitely the government of Rwanda will know how many people have come in, where are they. It cannot mean that us in our country, Kenya, when you enter this airport of ours, that you can just come and decide to live another life and even call yourself another name, Madam Speaker, and you are just surviving here. And that is why we are talking of this terrorism and all these things that we are talking about. These are the people who come in, Madam Speaker, and they will start some funny business, and we will find ourselves now in a crisis and crying. Madam Speaker, when you look at another, which I want us to now ask ourselves, especially on the financial institutions, that as we agree to open up business, I think it's also important to always balance both, because we cannot allow also our country to just be a dumping place. Anything that anyone brings, they dump here, they move and they move on. We have to have very serious, and I appreciate the regulations that we are now putting in, that if indeed, even when you go, if anything happens and you are in court, we have to ensure in 60 days we will have to receive information and many other things. So these regulations, Madam Speaker, come in to assist in the many challenges that we are faced, especially on obligation of financial institutions and getting to know who is this person. And I have, as I said in the morning, Madam Speaker, we have passed a few very key bills in this House. And we are hoping, as we put together even the regulations, and ensuring that when someone is doing something wrong, there is restrictions to guide in the process. As much as I will understand also, if we are not careful, we can also vilify our young people if we don't go through a very vigorous process. Because sometimes we put our young people into this due to challenges that they face, and they will find themselves in court wondering, why am I in court? So, Madam Speaker, as I finalize, the most important thing that we must be asking ourselves, and we should be thanking God as we close the year, that we have seen a lot of challenges
in the security sector. But indeed, CS Kindiki, we have to also appreciate that the things he has done, surely, with the challenges of bandits, and it is unfortunate, we can talk about bandits and PS Omolo. We can talk about bandits, yet these are our people, these are our young men who we know we can deal with them, but it has become as if there's a team, and that is what we call terrorism now. You've decided to safeguard the team and do everything. So, Madam Speaker, even as we talk about everything and we appreciate, let us...
Sorry, Honorable Beatrice Elachi, what is your point of order, Honorable John Waweru?
Madam Speaker, I normally really restrain myself when the Honorable Member for Dagoretti North is on the floor, because I know she's an extremely passionate legislator, a great leader, and of course a very good neighbor. And Madam Speaker, there is nothing out of order in what she is presenting. Mine is that I am rising on a point of procedure, and I would like to request that even as she concludes, that we could call upon the mover to reply, listening to the trajectory that the debate is taking, and knowing what is needed, especially on this day being the last day of business in this house, to kindly, as she prosecutes, Madam Speaker, you can apply your discretion to call the mover to reply at a timely, in a timely manner, so that we can prosecute, we can be able to execute this business and expend of it in good time. Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker.
Thank you, Honorable Kiari. You will conclude, and after that, then I'll find out whether that is the mood of the House. So you may proceed. What is out of order, Honorable?
Speaker, we are discussing a very important issue, and looking at the numbers in the House, we do not actually have quorum in the House. Huh?
Well, honorable members, I have confirmed that we do not have the requisite numbers in the House. So then I order that the bell be rung for 10 minutes.
You cannot just, we want to talk and we just say...
The speakers panel. Currently what is happening is that the member for Seme, Honorable James Nyikal, has informed the House and the Speaker that the House lacks the requisite quorum, and that the motion on the floor, which was on the prevention of terrorism, implementation of the United Nations Security Council resolutions on suppressions of terrorism, regulations 2023, cannot continue to be debated due to the lack of the quorum in the House. And this is pursuant to Standing Order number 35, that during the proceedings of the House, if the House does not have the required number of the members seated in the chambers, then a member may rise on a point of order and alert the Speaker that the House does not have the required number of members within the chambers, and that the quorum bell may be rung for a few minutes to allow members to walk in. Standing order number 35 on quorum during the proceedings of the House indicate that if at any time after the chair is taken or when the House is in committee, a member objects that there is not quorum present, which is what the member for Seme has just done, the Speaker or the chairperson shall count the members in the House or the committee as the case may be. In this case, the Speaker is Honorable Rachel Nyamai, who sits in the Speaker's panel. Standing order number 35 2 indicates that if on the count under paragraph 1 a quorum does not appear to be present, the Speaker or the chairperson shall cause the division bell to be rung as on division, and if no quorum is present at the expiration of the 10 minutes, if the Speaker is in the chair, the Speaker shall adjourn the House until the next sitting without a question put. If the House is in committee, the chairperson shall leave the chair and report the fact to the Speaker, who shall adjourn the House until the next sitting without question. In this case, the Speaker is in the chair and the quorum bell is underway for members who may have left the chambers to walk into the chambers to continue with the business of the day. Remember, the debate that was on the floor was a motion on the prevention of terrorism implementation of the United Nations Security Council resolutions on suppression of terrorism regulations 2023, a motion that has been moved by the chairperson, Committee on Delegated Legislation, Honorable Samuel Chepkonga, and seeks to have the House adopt the report as well as approve the report on the prevention of terrorism implementation of the United Nations Security Council resolutions on suppression of terrorism regulations 2023. Debate on this particular motion was a resumption of a similar debate that was interrupted on Thursday, December. This is today during the morning sitting, and there was a balance time of 42 minutes. Now, remember why the House requires that particular quorum is that the motion seeks the House to adopt and approve this particular motion. So this indicates that the House has to make a decision on whether they will be adopting and approving this particular report with regards to the motion that has been moved. And the House needs to have a requisite number for this particular decision to be reached, and that is what has necessitated the Honorable Member for Seme to alert the Chair or the Speaker that there is no requisite quorum for that particular move, and that is what has necessitated the current quorum bell that is underway. Earlier on, the Deputy Speaker of the National Assembly, Honorable Gladys Boss, of course, made the communication of the adjournment of the House for the second session that is coming to an end this afternoon, and the members will be proceeding on a long recess until the 13th of February, the year 2024. Remember, the second session began on the 15th of February 2023, and today marks the end of the regular sittings for that particular session, and the members will be resuming back for regular sessions on the 13th of February 2024. However, there was communication again from the Speaker that committees or departmental committees over the House may continue holding committee meetings, but until 18th of December. So basically that is what has been happening in the chambers. And once the quorum is achieved, then we shall be able to see how this particular motion pans out, whether they will be adopting or rejecting it, whether they will approve or reject it. But we have seen members making contributions with regards to this particular issue on the prevention of terrorism, and of course considering the United Nations Security Council resolutions on suppression of terrorism and the regulations that have been proposed. These regulations are within or were formulated by the chairperson, by the committee, or rather on delegated legislation. So members will be walking in. Of course, the quorum bell is on, and members are aware that their presence is highly needed inside the chamber for the continuation of the House business for this afternoon, this day marking the last day for the members and the calendar of the House for the second session of the 13th Parliament. In her address, the Deputy Speaker noted that as the House takes the long break, the House has managed to consider a very important bills, motions, as well as treaties that were important to the national interest or national matters. Some of the bills, including the finance bill, among other bills. But if you are just joining us, then this is a quorum bell that has been necessitated by a lack of the requisite number of members in the chambers. And during such a time when the quorum lacks, and it is business, or the business that is being considered requires a substantial number of members to be in the chambers, then a member in the House or within the chambers may object that there is no quorum in the House.
Yo, ni DJ Shiti hapa, mwigizaji ambao mmekuwa mkimtazama muda mrefu kwenye runinga zenyu, na kwa ile support ambao mmekuwa mkinipatia imefikia hatua pia nikasema vipi nitaweza kuwalipa, na kwa kweli siwezi kuwalipa, sina cha kuwalipa mbali na humanity, utu ama ubinadamu. Niliweza kuingia katika website ya Save a Life, na hata ukiingia utajionea na utagundua kuwa imesaidia watu zaidi ya 5,000, imefanya operation zaidi ya 1,500, kitu ambacho ni kitu kikubwa sana. Unajua ugonjwa haijaandikiwa mtu fulani, hakuna mtu anapenda kugonjeka, hakuna mtu anapenda aje kwa ugonjwa, ni hali tu ambayo inapata watu. Wengine wanazaliwa nayo, wengine nawapata katika ni hali ambayo binadamu tunaishi nayo, na hakuna jinsi tutaikwepa.
Beberu hakutaka kutia sukuko mbele, hakutaka kufanya chochote, na kwa hivyo watu wakawa hawana nafasi.
Ijapokuwa watu wakisema kufundisha watoto watapata kazi wapi?
Our villages and towns are powered by electricity.
How has Kenya fared in the realization of her independence clarion call of eliminating ignorance, poverty and diseases? Kenya at 60, a special KBC coverage beginning Monday, the 4th of December to Jamhuri Day.
The stage is set for a showcase of young talents as Kenya hosts the Sekafa Under-18 Championship from the 25th of November to 8th of December in Kisumu and Kakamega. Kenya, Sudan, Rwanda, Somalia, Zanzibar, South Sudan and Uganda are battling for the title in the 2-week tournament. The group phase matches are scheduled 25th of November to 1st of December. Then the semi-finals will be played on 5th of December and the final on 8th of December, all in Kisumu. Catch the matches live on KBC Channel 1, your true sports partner.
Cause of the rules with me, I know, babe. But then again, I don't pretend.